something has changed at Heartland. The land still stretches wide and free, the horses still run wild, and the ranch still breathes like a living memory. But there's a silence now, a kind of silence that says, not everything is all right. As season 19 begins, an emotional storm is brewing, and the premiere wastes no time in pulling us right into it. Nothing feels the same. Not Amy, not Jack, not even the way the sun sets behind the barn. And just when you think you've found your footing, the truth hits. There are secrets buried deeper than anyone expected. And this time, the past won't stay quiet. Season 19 opens not with joy or reunion, but with the heavy feeling of time moving forward. Too fast for some, too slow for others. Amy walks the ranch with familiar grace, but there's a shadow in her eyes. It's been years since Ty's death, but the grief hasn't faded. It's transformed. Now it's not sharp or loud. It's quiet, deep, like a river running under frozen ground. Amy is trying for Lindy, for the horses, for herself. But the way she looks at Spartan says everything. She misses more than just Ty. She misses the part of herself that laughed easily, trusted quickly, loved without fear. Jack notices. He always does. But even Jack has his limits. This season doesn't treat him as the unshakable rock we've always seen. He's aging, and the weight of keeping the family together is starting to show in his voice, his steps, his silences. There's a moment early on when Jack stands by Ty's old cabin. He doesn't speak. He just looks. And in that stillness, we feel the unspoken words of a man who's held too much for too long. What he's hiding becomes one of the show's earliest mysteries. A health concern? A secret deal to sell part of the land? We don't know yet. But something's not right, and the writers are slowly turning that screw. Meanwhile, Lou is back, but her energy feels different. She's determined to help Amy, but their conversations are strained. There's a moment where Lou finds Amy crying in the barn, but instead of comfort, Amy pushes her away. "You don't understand," Amy says. Lou looks hurt, but not surprised. Their relationship is being tested in ways we haven't seen before. And in the middle of all this emotional distance, a letter arrives at Heartland. No one knows who it's from at first. It's not signed, but it talks about Ty, about things he knew, things he never said. And this letter changes everything. Georgie's absence is felt like a missing heartbeat. People keep asking where she is. Amy deflects. Lou avoids. But Jack, once again, carries the truth. There's a phone call he gets in the middle of the night. We don't hear the voice on the other end. We only see Jack's face, pale, serious, shocked. Whatever he hears, it rattles him. And the next morning, he burns the letter. Yes, burns it. That's the kind of story season 19 is telling. One where emotions are not only felt, but hidden, twisted, and sometimes set on fire. Heartland isn't just about healing anymore, it's about protecting. And the question becomes, what are they protecting, and from whom? At the ranch, small things start going wrong. A fence is cut, tools go missing, someone leaves the stable doors open at night. Tim blames Caleb. Caleb denies it. Amy says it's nothing. But Jack doesn't believe in coincidence. And in a whisper to Lisa, he says, "Someone's trying to send a message." What kind of message? We're not told. But one thing is clear, this isn't just a season about moving forward. It's about being pulled back into the past, into choices left unspoken, into pain that never really healed. There's also a new arrival, a young girl, maybe 16, who shows up at the ranch claiming to be looking for work. She says her name is Hannah. She knows a little too much about Heartland. She knows the horses by name. She even knows which stall Ty built. Amy is kind to her but suspicious. And then Hannah says something strange. "I just wanted to see where he lived." "Who?" Amy asks. "Ty," the girl says. "He was my dad." Just like that, the emotional dam cracks wide open. What does this mean? Is it true? Did Ty have a daughter no one knew about? Is this girl telling the truth? Or is she part of something more twisted? And how will Amy handle this revelation just when she was beginning to find her balance again? This is just the first storm of season 19. A premiere filled with emotional landmines, quiet heartbreaks, and the sense that something much, much bigger is just beginning to unfold. And if you think the truth is coming easily this season, You're wrong. Because the truth at Heartland always rides in slowly. But when it arrives, it changes everything. The girl's words echo through the barn like a ghost. Ty was my dad. For a moment, no one breathes. Amy stands frozen, her hands clenched around the reins of a horse she was grooming just seconds ago. The silence that follows is sharp, almost louder than the words themselves. Jack is the first to react, stepping forward, his voice calm but firm. Who are you, and why are you really here? But Hannah doesn't flinch. She meets Jack's gaze with steady eyes. I'm telling the truth, she says. I have proof. She pulls a small photograph from her coat, old, folded at the edges, and slightly faded. It shows a younger Ty smiling with a woman beside him, a baby in her arms. The woman's face isn't familiar to anyone at the ranch, but Ty's expression is unmistakable. He looks peaceful, happy, like he had another life, one he never mentioned. Amy takes the photo with trembling hands, staring at it as if trying to wake up from a dream. Could it be true? Did Ty keep something this big from her? Lou tries to take charge, suggesting a DNA test and offering to call a lawyer, but Amy shakes her head. No, she whispers. If this is real, I need to face it myself. She decides to let Hannah stay for a few days until they can figure out the truth. But the decision creates cracks. Jack is uneasy, Tim is furious, and Lisa warns Amy gently. Even the strongest hearts can break twice. Meanwhile, strange things continue happening around the ranch. A locked cabinet is found open, old photographs go missing, and someone paints a symbol on the barn wall late one night. A symbol Amy doesn't recognize, but one that Jack stares at for a long time before quietly erasing it. He tells no one what it means, but he knows. And whatever it is, it scares him. As Amy starts talking to Hannah, she begins noticing small details. The girl knows how to handle horses with surprising skill. She talks about Ty's habits, his favorite tools, the way he used to fix things around the ranch, all things she shouldn't know. And yet, something doesn't quite add up. When Amy asks where she lived, Hannah hesitates. When asked about her mother, she says, she died. A long time ago. But she doesn't cry. Doesn't even blink. The mystery deepens when Amy finds a journal in Ty's old drawer, one she's never seen before. It's thin, leather-bound, and tucked beneath a pile of old blueprints. The entries inside are written in Ty's handwriting, but they're different. They're guarded, half-finished. One entry catches Amy's eye. I made a mistake years ago. I tried to fix it, but I couldn't. Maybe someday I'll tell Amy. Maybe she'll understand. Amy's heart sinks. What mistake? What secret was he carrying? Could it be Hannah? Tim, on the other hand, doesn't trust Hannah at all. He thinks she's a liar, maybe even sent by someone trying to scam the family. He does some digging and finds something shocking, a record of a girl matching Hannah's description living in a group home under a different name. Not Hannah, but Eve Morgan. When confronted, Hannah, or Eve, doesn't deny it. She just says, I had to lie. It's the only way anyone would listen. Jack is torn. Part of him sees a lost girl searching for answers. The other part sees a threat creeping into the heart of their family. And then, something happens that shakes them all. One of the horses gets sick, suddenly, violently. The vet says it's poison, not natural. Someone did this. And the only person with access to that stall the night before was Hannah. The ranch becomes a battlefield of emotions. Amy defends Hannah, saying she wouldn't do something like that. Lou argues they need to call the police. Jack tries to stay neutral, but it's clear he's struggling. And in the middle of it all, Hannah stands alone, scared but defiant, saying only one thing. I didn't hurt the horse, but someone wants you to think I did. Now the story takes a darker turn. If Hannah is telling the truth, someone else is watching. Someone else is pulling strings. Amy starts remembering things. Strangers in town asking about the ranch, a man who watched her from across the diner weeks ago. It all seemed harmless before, but now it feels like pieces of a puzzle she didn't know she was solving. Lou calls in Peter to help investigate. He has contacts, resources. He uncovers something chilling, an anonymous bank deposit made to the ranch's account, just days before Hannah arrived. No note, no explanation, Just money. A lot of it. Why? Amy begins to suspect Ty didn't just leave behind a daughter. He left behind something else. Something someone wants back. And they're using Hannah to get close. Or maybe Hannah is the warning. In the final scene of this section, Amy goes back to Ty's grave. She kneels beside it, the photo of Ty and the mystery woman in her hand. Her voice is soft but heavy with emotion. "Did you love her?" she asks. "Did you love me?" The wind blows gently, as if answering her, but there's no peace, no closure, only more questions. And somewhere, in the distance, someone is watching the ranch through binoculars, waiting. The morning after the poisoned horse incident, silence hangs over Heartland like a thick cloud. Amy hasn't slept. She watches Hannah from the window as the girl helps brush the horses, quiet, careful, and calm, as if nothing happened. But Amy knows better. Things are unraveling and fast. The past that Ty never spoke of is now clawing its way into their lives, and it's not coming gently. Peter's findings open a new door, and what's behind it changes everything. The anonymous deposit wasn't random. It came from a bank account once owned by a man named Caleb Denton, a name Amy doesn't recognize. But when Jack hears it, he turns pale. "I knew him," Jack says. "Years ago. Rode with Ty. Back when Ty first got out of juvie, Caleb was bad news, always looking for shortcuts, always one step away from trouble." Lou digs deeper, and the truth hits harder than they imagined. Caleb Denton died 2 years ago in a car crash. But before that, he served time for fraud, and his last known associate was a woman named Miranda Ellis, the same name found on the back of the photo Hannah gave Amy. Suddenly, the picture becomes clearer. Ty had a connection to Miranda, a woman he never told Amy about, a woman who might have been in trouble. And Hannah? She could be Miranda's daughter, which would mean Hannah really might be Ty's child. But then, why all the secrecy? Why hide Hannah? Why send her here now? Amy confronts Hannah again, this time not with anger but with desperation. "If you really are his daughter," she says, "you deserve to be here. But I need the truth. All of it." Hannah hesitates, then finally opens up. Her story spills out like a storm. Miranda and Ty met when they were young, during one of Ty's disappearances in his early 20s, before he ever returned to Heartland for good. They spent time together, but it wasn't love. Not really. Ty helped Miranda escape from an abusive partner, Caleb Denton. After that, Miranda went into hiding. When Hannah was born, she claimed Ty was the father, but she never contacted him again. She didn't want him to know. Not until recently, when Miranda fell ill. Before dying, Miranda gave Hannah the photograph and told her to go to Heartland. She said, "They'll know who he was. They'll help you." But she didn't say who might be watching or why she needed to run. Amy is shaken. She wants to believe Hannah. But then, something else happens. Katie, Lou's daughter, finds a hidden camera outside the barn. Not an old security camera. A new one. Recently placed. Someone is spying on them. The RCMP get involved. They trace the camera and the bank transfer to a shell company registered offshore. It all points to a larger scheme. And it ties back to Caleb Denton. Turns out, before his death, he was involved in smuggling stolen livestock and using ranches like Heartland as unknowing cover. Now, someone thinks Heartland still holds something he left behind. Amy begins to understand the full danger. Hannah wasn't sent here just to discover her roots. She was bait, a distraction, and now the real threat is closing in. The emotional toll is heavy. Amy feels betrayed by Ty, even if he had his reasons. Jack starts blaming himself. "I should have pushed him to talk more about his past," he says. Lou struggles to balance protecting her family and trusting Hannah. And Tim is ready to fight. "Whoever's out there watching us," he growls, "they picked the wrong ranch." Meanwhile, strange events escalate. One night, the hayloft catches fire. A small blaze, quickly put out, but the message is clear. This is more than just spying. It's a warning. The community begins to notice something's wrong. Caleb Odell, Ty's old friend, visits and hears whispers about Hannah. He doesn't believe them until he sees her. His face goes white. "She looks just like him," he says, "like Ty when he was younger." That's when Amy makes a decision. They'll do the DNA test. The wait is excruciating. Every day feels like walking on glass. Amy wants closure. She wants the truth. But part of her is terrified of what it might be. What if Hannah is Ty's daughter? What does that mean for her and Lindy, for the life she built? And then the results arrive. Jack opens the envelope slowly, his hands shaking. Amy doesn't breathe. He reads the results silently, then looks up. "It's a match," he says softly. "She's his daughter." The room spins. Hannah cries, not out of joy, but relief. "I didn't come here to take anything," she says. "I just wanted to know who he was. That's all I ever wanted." But outside the ranch gates, a black SUV sits idling. The man behind the wheel speaks into a burner phone. "She's confirmed," he says. "Begin phase 2. The storm has only just begun. The wind howls across the ranch as if nature itself senses what's coming. Amy clutches the DNA results in her hand, the truth written in black and white. Ty had a daughter. Hannah is family. But as that truth sinks in, it doesn't bring peace. It brings war. Because Heartland is no longer just a home. It's a target. The black SUV returns the next night, headlights off, moving like a predator. Jack notices a section of the fence cut, a lock on the barn door broken. Whoever this is, they're not just watching. They're preparing for something. And the RCMP, they're too slow. "We need to protect ourselves," Tim says, gripping his old rifle. "No one else is going to do it for us." But protection isn't just about fences and firepower, it's about trust. And right now, that's in short supply. Amy feels torn in two. Ty's memory is sacred. She spent years keeping it alive for Lindy, for herself. But now, every time she looks at Hannah, she sees the part of Ty she never knew, a whole life he never shared. It feels like betrayal. It feels like loss. All over again. Yet she can't hate Hannah. The girl has Ty's quiet strength, his stubborn heart, and something more. Courage. One evening, while helping Jack with a sick foal, Hannah notices something buried near the back fence. A rusted tin box. Inside, photos, old documents, and a ledger with Caleb Denton's name on it. A map, too, marked with symbols that match the carvings on the wood beams in the barn. Jack's hands tremble as he flips through the pages. "This isn't just about smuggling," he mutters. This is a list of drop points, names, codes. Heartland was being used, years ago. Maybe even before Ty came back for good. It clicks for Amy. The camera, the transfer, the arson, it's all connected to something bigger. Someone wants that ledger, and they think Hannah knows where it is, but she didn't. Until now. That night, Amy hides the box under the floorboards in the house. "We protect it, at all costs," she tells the family, but she's already too late. The next morning, Katie is gone. A note is left on the kitchen table. "Bring the girl and the ledger, or you'll never see your niece again." Lou breaks. "They took her, Amy. They took my baby." Her voice cracks, filled with rage and terror. "I swear if they hurt her..." The family rallies. There's no more waiting, no more hiding. Tim calls in an old favor, an ex-RCMP tracker named Jonas who owes him a life debt. Jack and Caleb load up the truck. Amy packs the ledger in a backpack. And Hannah? She insists on going with them. "She's my cousin," she says firmly, "and this is my fault." They trace Katie's location to an abandoned ranch 2 towns over. Jonas confirms it. Movement in the barn, guards, armed. Whoever these people are, they're not just criminals. They're trained. Amy's heart pounds. She's never faced danger like this. Not like this. But then, a miracle. As they prepare to approach, a second vehicle arrives at the scene. Out steps a man with salt and pepper hair, hard face, sharp suit. He's clearly in charge. And beside him, Katie, blindfolded but unharmed. Amy watches from a distance, hiding behind the tree line. The man paces, speaking on his phone. She hears just enough. "We need the girl. Hannah, Denton's last key. Without her, the ledger's useless." That's when Amy decides. She steps out, alone, unarmed. She walks straight into the lion's den. The man freezes. "Amy Fleming," he says with a smile, "just like the files described. Brave, foolish." "Let Katie go," she says, holding up the backpack. "You want the ledger? Take it." but she walks. He laughs. You think this is about paper? Denton left behind more than notes. He buried evidence. Evidence that could bring down men far more powerful than you can imagine. That girl, Hannah, she knows the locations, whether she realizes it or not. Suddenly, a gunshot echoes. Tim and Jack burst in from the side, weapons raised. Caleb tackles one of the guards. Jonas knocks another out cold. Chaos. In the scramble, Hannah runs to Amy. Katie breaks free. The leader grabs Amy, knife to her throat. You'll regret this, he hisses. But Amy stares him down. You don't know Heartland. A second later, Lou appears, fury in her eyes, and slams the man from behind with a fence post. He goes down. Hard. It's over. The RCMP arrive minutes later, alerted by Jonas earlier. Arrests are made. Katie is safe. Heartland survives. Back at the ranch, silence returns. But nothing is the same. Amy sits on the porch with Hannah. Lindy plays nearby, innocent and free. The storm has passed, but its damage lingers. I'm sorry, Hannah says quietly. For everything. Amy takes her hand. You didn't ask for this. But you're part of this family now, and we protect our own. That night, Amy opens a new photo album. One side, pictures of Ty and Lindy. The other, Hannah's first smile at the ranch. Side by side, 2 lives, 1 legacy. Heartland may never be the same again. But maybe, just maybe, it's stronger than ever. And the season ends not with a goodbye, but with a beginning. Because the heart, sometimes the most powerful stories are the ones that leave us with questions. Heartland Season 19 didn't just entertain us, it made us feel. It made us think. And above all, it reminded us that even the strongest hearts carry deep scars. This season was not just about horses, ranch life, or family traditions. It was about secrets buried in silence, about love lost and found again, about how a single letter, a single photo, or even a name whispered in the dark can change everything. Ty Borden's legacy returned in ways no one could have imagined, not just in memory, not just in Lindy's eyes, but in the form of Hannah, a girl who didn't ask to be part of the chaos but became its center. Her arrival cracked the foundation of Heartland, but it also rebuilt it stronger. And Amy, she proved again why she's the soul of this story. In the face of betrayal, danger, and heartbreak, she stood tall. She didn't run from the pain. She faced it. For Ty, for Lindy, for the family that still stands because of her. As the credits roll on Season 19, we're left with more than just answers. We're left with echoes. What was Caleb Denton really hiding? What doors will the ledger open? And will the peace at Heartland last, or is another storm already forming on the horizon? But maybe the biggest question is this. What would you do if your past knocked on the door and brought danger with it? Would you run, or would you ride out to meet it like Amy did? This season wasn't just about drama. It was about identity. Every character had to look at who they were and ask, is that enough? Lou, the protective sister, found her strength again, not in politics, but in the love for her daughter. Tim proved he'd sacrifice everything for the ones he loves. And Jack showed us once more that wisdom isn't just knowing when to speak, it's knowing when to act. And let's not forget Katie, the brave little girl who faced fear with more courage than most adults. She reminded us that no one is too young to fight for family. So, what happens next? That's the beauty of Heartland. It doesn't end with one story. It begins with many. Every scar is a lesson, every goodbye is a promise, and every season is a step forward. If you felt the heartbeat of this season, if you cried, smiled, or held your breath waiting for the next twist, then you're part of the Heartland family too, because this story belongs to all of us now. And as long as there's love, truth, and courage, Heartland will never end. Thank you for watching, for listening, for feeling, and until we meet again, remember this. Home isn't just a place, it's a feeling. And that feeling still lives at Heartland.